What is up, people? What is up? All right, so I'm gonna just cut straight to the chase. I want to talk about something that is very, very exciting to me. And the exciting thing to me is this right here. It's all about CM Punk. And I admit, I could be a CM Punk hater. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a CM Punk hater from the heart because I used to be a fan of him. And with him causing a lot of issues backstage in AEW, Ring of Honor, TNA, and every company, WWE, that he's worked for, it makes me very, very skeptical of him. However, I literally said this before in my recent episodes of my podcast that y'all need to listen to. Like 9 times out of 10, if you listen to this on YouTube, go to the streaming platforms. Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon, you name it. And find MILTOENT with this yellow logo right here to listen to all my episodes of my podcast. And everything I predicted from CM Punk being on Raw to Randy Orton being on SmackDown was was perfect. I called it. I called it 100%. But anyways, I said before I'm not gonna jump on the CM Punk bandwagon. I'm not gonna be a fan of him because I don't trust him because he's very problematic. And I'm just a wrestling fan. I'm just a typical pro wrestling fan that has a lot of great knowledge. And my favorite pro wrestling podcasters is Jim Cornette and JD from New York, Chris Van Vliet, and that's pretty much it. And one thing about them, these podcasters, every one of them is very down to earth. Like Chris Van Vliet is down to earth. JD and Jim Cornette are kind of like old school. Jimmy is a little bit old school. JD is like straight up go tell you how you feel. Even Joe Cronin, I even listen to Joe Cronin. So the moral of the story is a lot of podcasters of the pro wrestling community make a living off what we're talking about. And I'm very knowledgeable about the product. I'm a huge wrestler fan. I've been watching wrestling since 1999. So I know about the product. I know about the terminology. I know about heels and faces. I know about jobbers. I know all of that. I have a lot of wrestling knowledge. And a lot of fans these days are kind of new to the product and don't know. It's kind of like if you're a fan of basketball or football, you can talk to me all day about basketball and football. And at the end of the day, I may say something on the lines of, well, I don't watch basketball, but I know that Michael Jordan's better than LeBron James. People are like, how you know? You don't watch basketball. I say, well, I know because Michael Jordan sells Jordans and he's a good basketball player and he's not a whiny little girl like LeBron. But I can't make a definitive argument with that because I don't watch basketball. But if I say something on the line of, oh, I don't think CM Punk is a good, you know, presence in the WWE, a good wrestler in the WWE, based upon his background of his past. And people are like, well, what do you mean? All right, this is what I mean. A person that constantly causes problems everywhere he goes, as a man, I feel like that's kind of weak. I feel like that's a very weak thing to deal with it. And it's a lot of people in the wrestling community that has been difficult backstage. Case in point, The Miz was difficult backstage. Look at The Miz now. Miz is killing it right now in the WWE. He a two-time WWE champion. He main evented at WrestleMania. Miz is a talent that's still there with Randy Orton. The list goes on. Case in point, Shawn Michaels. A lot of people hated Shawn Michaels backstage. They did not want to work with him because he was an asshole. But now Shawn Michaels is running NXT. He's doing good. So the moral of the story is just because I'm a hater of CM Punk doesn't mean I want to give the man his props because everybody deserves a second chance. Although, the reason why I'm posting this episode of the podcast today is because I feel like CM Punk is going to have something to say. Now, when CM Punk returned, I hated that promo. It was very weird. It was very scripted. It was very robotic. It was corporate. It's kind of like if something bad happened in a company and you're the CEO or one of the fucking spokesperson of the company, it's like, oh, we're so deeply saddened about the loss of this person. Or you just give some generic ass excuse. Bump that. Punk is known for being a jerk. a jerk we love and we hate. The character, I got to give it to him, is a good character wise, when it comes to promos. Like, I don't think when it comes to promos, CM Punk is like top 5 of all time when it comes to promos, next to John Cena, next to MJF, next to The Rock and Chris Jericho, and maybe Stone Cold. I don't know many other people that can like get on that microphone and shoot a good promo. Roman is up there a little bit too, but we ain't talking about Roman. But for somebody to cut you down in a promo, I like Punk's promo work. Punk can pull a promo where he can go up on you, praise you, revere you, then out of nowhere, it's like a hot knife twisted inside your body. Out of nowhere, he twists that knife inside your body like you see in movies when you get betrayed. That's similar. That's Punk style. That's CM Punk style. And I like it. And I already know when CM Punk's rebuttal is going to be something about this. CM Punk's promo is going to be simply saying something about, first off, Seth, you was just somebody on NXT. You're the second NXT champion or the first NXT champion. You really wasn't that relevant in NXT, and this, that, and the fourth, until the Shield was formed. And then I was one of the few people that called you up from NXT with Roman and Dean, aka Mox, and brought you up to, brought you into the wing. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm stuttering. Overall, when you think of the Shield, everybody's favorite member of the Shield, to me, of me growing up, it's always Roman, then it'll be Dean, then it'll be Seth. Or sometimes it may be Roman, it may be Seth, it may be Dean. Or sometimes it may be Dean, it may be Roman, it may be Seth Rollins. Because Ambrose's gimmick was good in the WWE. Lunatic Fridge and everything, the crazy guy, like he reminded us of a young Brian Pillman, which is what they need to do with Brian Pillman Jr. You kind of need to give him a gimmick similar to Dean Ambrose to make him more badass. That's another day, another topic. But CM Punk built the foundation for the Shield. He's like the person kind of like that built the careers. It make me think of think about this for a second. The Blackpool Combat Club, right? Was all trained by William Regal. Okay, so think of this. Like William Regal is probably the one that got all those guys into the pro wrestling game. CM Punk is the one that got the Shield into the pro wrestling game. The Shield to me is still one of the best trios of all time. All time. Better than the NWO, better than the Bullet Club. They're badass because they're original. They're like mercenaries, so I like the Shield. But again, Roman was the guy that people liked, that they knew that was going to have potential. Dean was the guy that had potential. Seth Rollins is okay. I'm not a Seth Rollins hater because I'm a partial Seth Rollins fan. But when Seth turned on the Shield, it was phenomenal because it built his character. And one thing about wrestling, you have to have character development. Therefore, Seth has been killing it lately. He's beat Roman, he's beat Dean, he's beat Brock, he's beat Cena, he's beat a lot of people. He's beat a lot of people, and he's a really good worker. And I like the fact that it's a common thing we deal with where you work with somebody you literally may hate or dislike. But honestly, people say hate's a strong word, but a lot of times, let's be realistic. A lot of times it's people we hate to work with, people we hate in life and don't want to work with because of their negative aura or their negative or them just being a spoiled apple. Literally, when you put when a bag of apples that's spoiled, you can bite off that apple, or that apple can be old, that you can drop that apple up and accidentally step on that apple. One thing about that one bad apple literally, legitimately spoils the bunch. Meaning, Punk can be that bad apple, and Seth is like, yo, man, I've been in this for a while. I don't need you coming back, spoiling this company, making this company look bad, tarnishing his name. We already just got backlash from Vince McMahon being a pervert and Joy Laurinaitis being a pervert and all these other people, and we dealing with racism. We got a lot of eyes on us a little bit, and having a controversial figure like you is not going to do it. But Eric Bischoff is somebody I strongly dislike, but his book is Controversy Creates Cash. And to paraphrase, what that means to me is when you make something controversial, it's going to pay some money. I remember watching an episode of Basketball Wives, and the disclaimer was the person was fired from the show. Da, 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 da. I remember it was promo clips for it. It was like when Drea Michelle had said something about somebody having cancer. Really messed up. But one thing about television, when you deal with people that's controversial or messed up, that's going to get a lot of eyes on the company. It's similar to R. Kelly. R. Kelly's sales has rocketed due to him going to jail and doing that horrible stuff. And to me, just my perspective, I feel like CM Punk is the R. Kelly of professional wrestling simply because of he's super talented. Although, despite his talent, he has some demons. Although he ain't on the level of R. Kelly of being weird. But at the end of the day, people are still listening to R. Kelly. People are still streaming his music. His music sales has went up. His music sales went up. Like, say for instance with CM Punk. When CM Punk was fired from AEW, all his merchandise sales went up. CM Punk came to the WWE. Views for the pay-per-views went up. So whatever CM Punk does is views. Therefore, when you're a controversial figure that has infamy, when you're infamous, you gain money. Look at these serial killers: Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy, Eileen Widows, the Manson family, Ed Gein. Every single one of these infamous murderers are, dealt with some stuff, did some horrible stuff. But since 4, 5, 6 decades, literally, you can research it, murders and serial killers has had so much movies, video games, and media upon them, and it's making money. Although the family may be quote unquote pissed off, it creates money. It creates people to be interested because America, intellectual, like inside their mind, they are very interested in bad things or bad people. And CM Punk is up there with like infamy. People that's infamous get more notoriety than a person that's famous. You can be a famous person and fall off. You can fall off, be a one-hit wonder, fall off like Vanilla Ice. But at the end of the day, still people still say, well, during that time, this is when John Wayne Gacy or somebody was making murders. That's true. I don't know if that's true, but at the end of the day, the way I break down my product and my podcast is I try to be different. I try to think outside of the box. I try to be very analytical when it comes to things like that. And that's what I think of CM Punk. I think of CM Punk being very infamous. He got his ass kicked twice in UFC. He got into a scuffle in AEW. I see clips where this dude is punching off on fans because they got an opinion. Long as you ain't putting your hands on me, I don't care. I'm a stand-up comedian. I do comedy on the side. Sometimes I'm funny, sometimes I ain't. I don't give a shit because I had a boss to go on stage. Some stuff I say, people don't like. Some stuff I say, people like. And most of the times I have hecklers in the crowd. And maybe CM Punk has the mindset like me where I don't give a shit about what people say. People may not like me, but at the end of the day, I'm going to make my coin. I'm going to live my dream. I'm going to be the best in the world. And nobody can do a damn thing about it because no matter where I go, I make gold. So I already know with CM Punk getting Seth Rollins' ass, it's going to be phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's going to be one of the greatest promos ever. Ever. Because Seth Rollins got a lot of ammunition to get roasted with all these little suits he has, the way he acts, his gimmick changes. It's going to be addressed. I promise you it's going to be addressed. is gonna be addressed. And Seth, when Seth made that comment about CM Punk a while back in an interview, you knew it was gonna be something. And that's what interviewers are gonna do. They're gonna stir the pot. They're gonna stir the pot. That's why I don't like this. This is why I hate DJ Academics and DJ Vlad, because these are two interviewers that stir up the pot and causes a lot of issues amongst people, getting people into drama, beef, or even getting sent to jail or dead. So interviewers and these podcasters, some of them is playing a very dangerous card game. And then some of them play a very dangerous dice game where repercussions may occur. And one of the repercussions of rolling the dice is the CM Punk and Seth Rollins angle. If I was a pro wrestler or professional and I had beef about somebody, you're not gonna know. Well, it's not that team. You may know I don't like them if they push it, but it's like I say, to each his own. Everybody changes. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect. But hey, if you ever come to the ring, bro, I'll welcome you with open arms. But deep down, it's like, screw you. I don't like you. I hate you. But you got to do that. And CM Punk ain't going to let nothing go. You know, he's a little diva. He's more of a diva than AJ Lee. AJ Lee is more of a man than CM Punk because she's not sensitive like CM Punk. CM Punk is very sensitive. Although, I can see a it's a look I see. It's like the same look I saw in Edge's eyes when he returned to WWE when he had that grit. And when Edge returned, that was like the greatest Edge has ever been. Edge had me glued to the seat invested, and I wish he won the title. Even with him in AEW, his character has got better because he aged like fine wine. CM Punk looks better because he aged like fine wine. So maybe Punk, maybe CM Punk is gonna be, maybe CM Punk is gonna change. Now I say this so much, I don't want to be a hypocrite, but maybe he's gonna change. Maybe. However, CM Punk is like MJF. You just don't know. Because MJF is playing this face gimmick, and you already know when he turn on us, it's gonna be like hot butter melting in a pot. It's gonna be so satisfying when you grease that butter on some toast or cook with that butter. It's gonna be so saucy and flavorful, and it's gonna be good. And when Punk turns, it's gonna be I told you so. If Punk don't turn, highly likely if he doesn't turn, it's gonna be so interesting to see where he's gonna go. Cause I don't mind a baby face that's gonna tell it like it is and whoop your ass. That's why I like Gunther. Gunther is a heel, but he's one of the few heels that's not a coward that likes to run away. That's gonna give you a title opportunity. That's gonna whoop your ass and roast you in the most intelligent way. Punk, on the other hand, is a good guy, quote unquote, air quotations, that's gonna roast you, be himself, maybe not give a shit about the fans or the backstage, win the title, cut a promo. It's like, yeah, I'm not a part-time champion like some people. I know I probably sucked in the ring at AEW in my other company with this delusional war run that's on methamphetamine. But look at me now. I'm on top of the world. My merchandise sales is better than Dwayne, better than Austin, better than Cena, better than Joe, aka Roman, better than Kobe or Tyler or whatever you want to call Seth. That right there, you like, it's cool. And CM Punk, this generation we in now, generation X, Y, Z, whatever, from Gen X, Y, and Z. I forgot them. Not feel like looking up the generations. Let's say it like this. From the generation born from 1991 to the generation born from 2003 or 4. From those generations, they are people that grew up watching old school wrestling like WWF, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, then Generation X, or push forward John Cena, Randy Orton, or push forward The Shield. These guys all are in that age gap of, like, let's just say 16 through 33 or 35. In an age gap of 16 to 35, every single person form together and can say this right here. They like CM Punk because CM Punk's character is very authentic. He's down to earth. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't drink. He's an asshole. He's relatable to some people. He doesn't take. He abuses authority. He's got fired from companies before, and he did his own thing. And a lot of people are like that in today. So at the end of the day, CM Punk is going to generate some great revenue for the WWE. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, Monday Night Raw was good last night. Monday Night Raw has been good in a minute, although I'm Team SmackDown. And you could tell when shit hits the fan when Roman Reigns comes back. But I am a SmackDown fan for life, and I'm an AEW fan for life. I love pro wrestling. But if CM Punk doesn't go part-time, which I hope not, then Raw is going to kill it. WWE is going to be on the map again. WWE, I've met people, because I'm a server and bartender. I've met people and I told them how much I love wrestling, and sometimes I wear my t-shirts. They say, oh man, I don't watch wrestling no more. I say, why? After CM Punk left, that shit just fell off. Now CM Punk has came back. Now fans are coming back to the product. Now y'all ticket sales are going to generate more. And if WWE can talk to Roman and tell Roman to stop being a part-timer and be a full-time champion, defending his championship like a real champion is supposed to do, SmackDown will be on the map even more. WWE will have more eyes glued because a lot of fans are turning off the TV and don't want to watch wrestling no more because going up fixed to be damn near 3 or 4 years with Roman as champion. And that's tiring and it's annoying. Like, that's people are literally sick and tired of the bloodline. I am literally sick and tired of the bloodline. And I'm not being a pro wrestler like, well, I hate WWE. The bloodline is, interesting. You're just a loser making a podcast. And nobody listens to your podcast. You probably get a few viewers on your podcast. No, the bloodline is stale. You have Jey Uso on Raw. First of all, Jey Uso was the very good highlight of SmackDown. I was very comfortable with just having Jey Uso on SmackDown. I like Jey better than Jimmy. I don't like Solo. Solo and Jimmy are boring to me. They're okay, but they're boring. Roman Reigns is interesting, but he's a boring champion. He's a loser. He's a coward. His gimmick is a coward. And it just pisses me off that they make him this guy. And while we're saying CM Punk is an asshole, the biggest asshole in the WWE is Roman Reigns. This man didn't even come to tribute to the troops to support the troops that fought for our country. CM Punk showed up. Cody Rhodes showed up. JBL, who was the most controversial figure backstage, the biggest bully backstage, came and supported tribute to the troops. But Roman couldn't do it because Roman doesn't give a shit about the company. And we stay shitting on CM Punk, but yet the biggest asshole in the WWE is Roman Reigns. The biggest piece of shit in wrestling is Roman Reigns. He doesn't give two shits about the company. He doesn't give two shits about the product. And the thing that hurts me more, I'm going to be real. The thing that hurts me more is, yes, CM Punk is openly an asshole, and I may or may not change my view for him. But fans was upset and crying when Roman Reigns had cancer and recovered from it. And this is the way he paid the fans back? By being a part-time bitch that barely wrestles? You barely wrestled for the company, but we supported you when you had cancer. We was crying, we was sad, and we got our own motherfucking problems to deal with, and you want to be an asshole and be a part-time champion, sit on your sorry ass and not do shit? And you think people need to acknowledge you? Yeah, like I said on my podcast, I'm going to tell the shit like it's real. I'm going to tell the shit like it's real. I say what the fuck I said about Booker T. I said what I'm saying about Roman. Roman is a great wrestler. He's improved. But you don't give a shit about the company. And you use You used your cancer as a crutch to make people like you. Then you buried Bray Wyatt. And ever since when Bray Wyatt was living, Bray Wyatt character diminished. And you didn't even pay respects to this man. You didn't even pay respects to this man's death, and you buried him. And you didn't give a shit about that. And I don't get that about people. They say they love the company, they say they love pro wrestling, and it's just weird. Roman don't give a shit about the product. And the reason why I'm mad about Roman is he uses cancer as a crutch. Cancer, people that's dying today from cancer, you use it as a crutch to use that as a sacrifice or anything to be famous, and you are not even showing your support for the company. You don't even give a shit about the company. So when he loses the title, I am going to be happy. Good riddance to Roman. We don't need Roman in the WWE. Send Roman ass to AEW and give us MJF. Oh, when MJF comes to the WWE, he comes to SmackDown. We need somebody on SmackDown that's going to be a good full-timer. That's why I fuck with Randy Orton, because Randy Orton cares about the company. Randy Orton's been in the company for a while. He hasn't left like John Cena, because John Cena lied to us and said he cared about the fans. And once the actor strike was over, he left the WWE, nowhere to be seen. So, like I said, I believe the backstage issues about Cena being a dick. We don't have people like Alex Riley no more. We don't have people like King Kennedy no more. And I was a fan of all those wrestlers. And all this ties into CM Punk, because CM Punk is gonna be himself. He's gonna admit, yeah, I cause beef. I don't give a shit about people not liking me. Or CM Punk like, well, I'm not gonna use my cancer as a crutch just to please fans. If I don't fucking like the fans, I'm just gonna say it. If I don't give a shit about the product, I'm just gonna say it and I'm gonna haul off and quit. And like I said, I'm not the biggest CM Punk fan. However, when I think about it now, I got respect for Punk. All the hatred I have for Punk, I got respect for him, because he's not a fucking corporate sellout like Roman. So at the end of the day, fuck you, Roman Reigns. You're a cancer to the company, literally to the company, because you don't give a shit about your fans and you use cancer as a crutch to become a champion and force people to like you. Like, dude, get the fuck on with it. If you had cancer, bro, leave that shit to yourself. Because there's people I know that's died from that. People I know from died from seizures, cancer, and everything. And you shitting on their legacy by being a fucking asshole, sitting your ass at home, not being a good wrestler of the product. And that's what I gotta say. Simple. We all have opinions. It's the First Amendment, freedom of speech. People could call me a loser. People could say I'm disrespectful. But I don't like when people use sickness or blame to get their way. I don't like it. I'm gay and I'm black. But you think I'm gonna just use that as a crutch, like, oh, I'm black and gay and people fuck bother me because of my sexuality or my race? No. People are gonna bother you based upon your behavior and your attitude, no matter who you are. Oh, I'm blind, this, that, and the four, da 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 da. Not saying I'm blind. Or I'm da 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 da. Stop making excuses and be the man you supposed to be. I'm out. Subscribe to my podcast, subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I feel like this is gonna be an episode that's gonna get me subscribers.